How high do you think we're going, friends? I would like to ask you that question. This is a poll that I made earlier. What crypto valuation do you think is expensive? 5, 8, 10, or 12 trillion? And everyone overwhelmingly, we are more towards 10 or 12. Now, when I asked the question, remember, here is just a screenshot of the crypto industry. We're around like, 2.5 to 3-ish. And these are the different levels. And I just asked this question because I want us to think about, like, where do we think it's expensive? Okay, expensive means, like, where do you think, like, hey, there's probably reasons to, like, exit here? I think we can all agree 5 trillion's a joke. Like, I don't think we sat through the whole industry just to go from, remember, we peaked at 3. Yeah, to sit at 5 trillion, I mean, this is it right now. Going to 5 trillion is just a horrendous embarrassment. All of crypto. I don't think anything's going to recover like that just to end the 5. But, 7, 10 to 12. And by the way, like, what's the difference? 7, 10 or 12 trillion? Yeah, man, those are trillions of dollars. They do matter a lot for the Bitcoin price, because a $10 trillion industry with around a $3 trillion or $4 trillion Bitcoin, it's 150 to 200K. Okay, by the way, that Bitcoin dominance is like 30 to 40%. Okay, so we're hoping we get around there. But does that mean, if we're going there, does that mean we're expensive? Think about it. Does it really mean we're expensive? What if we sit between 5 and 10? I really want us to think about that, because the market's right. They don't go to fair value and then hit in depression. They don't do that. They go to expensive. So it's something to keep in mind for next year. And now I'm going to play for you some awesome pump music, because you deserve it, friends. Let's speak a bit about product market fit. So it's not enough to find a good product market fit in crypto, stocks, or investing in general. You must get it for a cheap price. So if you've been watching me, this is extremely important. Cheap prices cure all. Also, you got to remember too, we're heading into that bull market with the horny horns. So what's even a cheap price? Well, it gets blurry here, because a cheap price becomes cheap with time. You see? So if you've been holding stuff for a long time, it's in a cheap zone. So if people who buy expensive in a short period of time, which is probably like, 2021 mania, 2017, if you hold long enough, they eventually become cheap, in the cheap zone. But you got to be careful as well. What if the mind of the market doesn't want to give you product market fit in that item as well when it comes back? Okay, so the cheap price does cure most of your problems. Okay, most of your problems. If you're holding through highs or buying through highs, eventually you get slaughtered. Okay, just want to keep this as a reminder. So this is a Lady Peppy through the Plus Shop. So a strategy of buying through highs, they are, it's great. Of course, it's all great, because during a bull market, they're awesome. You can just keep clipping highs. Eventually, the party stops. But when you've been waiting 3 years for this party, now we have the momentum ignition. The party goes on longer for most think. It really does. And then it's all over. So just keeping that in mind, you have these principles. How can you protect yourself? Well, minimize your leverage. That's how you protect yourself. If you're using other people's money, you can get liquidated and forced out. If you're using your own money, okay, then you can just wait with time. You get it? You got it. I want to now show you this clip, friends. It's a bit, it's outside of crypto, but shout out to Vinny. This is just awesome. Vinny goes hard as a Piers Morgan thing here. After the Donald Trump victory, it's very, very heated. It's actually awesome. Have a listen to this.
We told you so, okay? And you guys were talking about this, Taylor. Like, think about what the left did. You diminished the weight behind the name Hitler, okay? So now this morning, everybody on the left is like, oh my God, Hitler won and the Nazis are celebrating, all right? But Piers, people like Schenk and all these left, MSNBC, all the hags from freaking The View, they should be calling Trump and thanking him and celebrating. So at least they're going to have something to talk about for the next 4 years, okay? Because these people have no substance. It's just Trump is the bad man. Watch us, listen to us. And I think it's a great day for America, Piers. And I just, he said last night, and I wrote this down, that God spared his life for a reason, and that's to save the country. Because let's not forget really quick, Piers, how we got here, okay? Trump was supposed to be dead. That assassin's bullet, Piers, and whoever that sniper assassin was going right for his head. Okay, because as we know, when it comes to assassins, Piers, they want to put out a freaking message. When they shot JFK, they shot him in his throat and then they shot him in his head. That sends a message to the world. Don't mess with us. We're the deep state, we're the establishment. You don't do that. God spared his life, Piers. If he was dead, Biden would still be in right now. That walking zombie would still be the president. He would win by a landslide, and they'd probably use the 25th Amendment to get him out to have Kamala. She had no business being here. I actually feel bad for her, Piers. She had 7 days to try to sell the world on her being the savior. It didn't work. God bless America, Piers, and thank God for Donald Trump. And I'm ecstatic, Piers. I'm besides myself.
So, interesting little segment there from Vinny Oshana. Now, in there, friends, he spoke about something about this Hitler word and memes, which is interesting because when I heard it, I'm like, wait a minute. That's how crypto works. They keep basically throwing out the word and your brain gets used to it. But they're using the H word, Hitler, right? The guy with the mustache. They're trying to, I guess it was meant to be an attack word. But if you keep saying it, it's not really attacking anymore because you're dealing with words, right? You kind of get numb to it. So it is interesting, right? In crypto, people are, they're like, if you see a word that's unknown, if it just keeps getting flooded, a word, right? Because that's what pretty much that's how we all communicate with each other. Remember, crypto's all digital cities. It's all about the power of words, certain sentences. They evoke emotion, certain images. That's all we can do. We speak through words, and that's it's the modern oratory. That's what we have to do. Okay, we can't like command people with like our swords and guns because everyone's across the lands. Okay, so I think the world, they're gonna start to wrestle with this later on. Like, how much information is too much information in the head? Right? Okay, how do you even control that? By the way, because not everyone's paying attention. In crypto, right? It's free market stuff. So the better of a job you do at getting your meme across, meme cult religion, or even your brand, whatever it is, could be a DeFi thing. It's all about marketing and branding. Okay, but now there's money on the line and it's connected to bank accounts, which are just on-chain wallets that nobody can shut off. Okay, so what's the result of this going to be in 5 or 10 years? I'd love to find out. Hopefully crypto's 10 trillion plus. And also, I can't help but think, friends, got to play some angel music. They almost had us. They almost had us, huh? They almost had us, friends. Can you believe Donald Trump, like it came within millimeters of that bullet? Man, like it was, what would have happened? I think about this every day. What would have happened if we didn't have a higher power basically shifting his head like that? Like that was a crazy. I think watching that happen, it could turn somebody non-religious into religious. Somebody who's a non-believer into a believer, an event like that. I think about things like that. We watched it. I woke up, Donald Trump planned assassination. Okay, you saw the bullet. It was like, there's no way that's off the chance. No way in hell. But now, think about another set of beliefs, friends. What happens when you're looking at a Bitcoin $100,000 number and you don't even know what investing is? You've been looking for a greater calling, and then this Bitcoin 100,000, like, what? How? What's going on? They get shocked. Okay. What about when people start seeing the HEX resurrection? Okay. What about when they start seeing that? When it starts cranking. 1 cent, 2 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 5 cent, 10 cents, 20 cents. What happens when they see that whole journey going through? You know, think about this. What happens when PulseChain, the strongest neo-religion in crypto, what happens when they start saying this? So just think about these things. That's what you're playing for, by the way. That's what you're playing for. By the way, also Easter egg as well. What happens, when they're looking at a PDI, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent, 5 cent? Their minds are blowing. So if you're long, you are getting ahead of this. Okay? You're letting the story just be an unknown thing in the future. You don't care about that. Remember, friends, a cheap price cures all. By the way, if there is no story right now, it's a cheap price. Okay, that's it. If there is no good story, that's another way to know. If you're not a quant or you're not like a chart guy, you have to use charts. So, but if you're not someone, just think about is there something where people around you are saying you got to get into this? It's never gonna go down. If they're not saying that, that means you're pretty much early. At some point though, the switch will be flipped. Shout out to my friend, Mr. Durkey Turkey. God bless the memes. So this is Mr. Durkey Turkey. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Salty C. Thank you, Mr. DGen as well. I'm sure you're talking about the Sigmas. Thank you very much, friend. So as you just get to see all of these stuff come together. We're destined for higher. Remember, memes, man, they make you feel something. That's how we communicate. So whoever captures that the most, they will be rewarded by the market. Crypto is the freest freaking market on earth, right? And it's going to be nuts, man. How are we going to reprice things? Maybe we're going to see stuff that, we're not going to be too proud of later on. I mean, it's kind of funny. We've already got racist coins. We're like, oh yeah, that's like a March 2024 thing, dude. You know what I mean? I wonder what's going to come in 2024. Hopefully our bags are bumping. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.